All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the second day of the Virtual University Transfer Fair presented by our Wake Tech Advising team. We are so happy to have you join us today for UNC Charlotte's presentation. Just a couple announcements for this event. There will be a Q&A portion at the end of the event, so you can go ahead and put your questions in the question box and they will be answered at the end. Also, please make sure to stay for the entire event. There will be a survey posted at the end, and we ask that you complete this survey for a chance to win a $50 Visa gift card. All right, our presenter today is Caitlin Kabaki from UNC Charlotte. Caitlin, you can take it away. I don't. Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. Had to unshare for some reason to be able to unmute myself, but now let's try sharing again. Okay, no worries. Okay. All right, so we are going to kick things off with, I kind of like to get to know what everyone already knows about Charlotte. So I like to kick things off with kind of a Mentimeter game. So we ask you to go to menti.com and then you will type in the code, and it's hidden for me now. Hold on, sorry. There should be a code at the top. So 96843496 is the code we're asking you to type in. So menti.com if you can, and then the code 96843496. Just giving you an opportunity to join that, and I'll just introduce myself as my name is Caitlin. I am one of the transfer admissions counselors here at UNC Charlotte. Super excited to be with you all today to tell you more about the university, tell you about the transfer application process, but then also get to answer any questions you have as you're, either planning to transfer or as you're going through the transfer process right now and have questions for us. Happy to help. So I'm not sure if we're all set, menti.com and then code 96843496, but we will go to the first question, I think. Let's see. And if I can't get it to work, we'll just jump right into the presentation. Here we go. All right. So what are your transfer plans to Charlotte? So are you planning to transfer with an associate's degree, a transferable associate's degree like an AA, an AS, an AE, an AFA? Are you planning to transfer early, transfer from a four-year school, transfer from multiple schools? Maybe you've been to multiple places and you want to answer that way. So feel free to respond there. It looks like somebody's going to plan to transfer early. Got one student planning to transfer with an associate's degree. All super helpful for me as we prepare, as I kind of go through the application process. It'll be helpful to know that information. So I appreciate you all sharing that with us. Few more transferring early before earning that associate's degree, that's okay. All right, and I'm not quite sure how many we have on, so I'm going to go to the next question just so we can kind of be respectful of everyone's time today. But I do appreciate you answering that question for me. And then kind of give me some insight as to what major you plan to pursue. So I don't want to spend time going through all of the academic colleges or all the majors at Charlotte today if you're not interested in that. So it is helpful for you to say mechanical engineering, or even if you just want to leave it at engineering, that's fine too, but mathematics or psychology is a great one, or criminal justice or nursing. All of that's helpful to me as we kind of navigate through the presentation today. So I know we at least have at least 4 of you on, so I'll just kind of be patient for 4 responses there, but it would be helpful in navigating, like I said, when we go through the presentation to kind of know what you're interested in. Any more psychologies out there? Is everybody psychology? Communication studies, another wonderful major. Social work, perfect. We should have probably 1 more response, at least, that I'm anticipating. Communication studies. No education majors or business majors out there. For us this year, it feels like, especially with our freshman admissions process, business is a popular major. Graphic design, oh, good one. Okay, I love that you typed that in. That's super helpful. Let me write that down because I don't want to miss that when we go over this stuff. Perfect. Well, thank you all for being very engaging throughout this. I really appreciate it. Okay, next question. So this next part, these next series of 5 questions are really more just fun facts about Charlotte, and you kind of, just it's more of a competition. So it's more of like who answers the most, like whoever answers accurately the fastest is kind of ends up the winner. So we will jump right to that first question. And what is UNC Charlotte known for? Being North Carolina's urban research university, being the largest transfer institution in the UNC system, the fastest growing university, or all of the above? Good thinking. Okay, all of the above is correct. So we are known as North Carolina's urban research university, urban because of our close proximity to the city of Charlotte, and research because of the opportunities we not only offer our graduate, but also our undergraduate students to participate in research at UNC Charlotte. We are also known as the state's largest transfer institution, and this is something we're super excited about. We're excited that we have a large amount of transfer students on our campus, so about 50% of our total student population are transfer students. That's huge. We sit at just about 30,000 students strong here at the university, so we are considered a large institution, keeping in mind that we'll talk about what that looks like for you as transfer students being, I don't want to go into, I'm pretty sure there might be a question about how many students. So if you were listening, you may get that question right. But I don't want to go into too specifics of what's our average classroom size and stuff, because I also feel like that's a question. So I'll leave that there and maybe we'll follow up in just a little bit. But we are also known as the fastest growing institution in the UNC system. So in the last 7 years, we've built 13 new buildings. And that's certainly a reason a student will choose to attend UNC Charlotte is our new and modern campus. The fact that a building or a space has been either recently renovated or recently built with today's student in mind, the latest and greatest technology to truly prepare you with the latest in the field and stuff before sending you out into the workforce, which is really cool. All right, let's see if I answered the next question for you. Number 2 of 5. About how many transfer students enroll at Charlotte each year? Okay, so I told you about half of our population are transfer students, but how many actually enroll each and every year? So almost 4,000, around 3,000, 2,600, or 1,500 students. Okay, most of you got it right, the majority of you. So almost 4,000 transfer students, y'all. That's more than our new incoming freshman class each and every year. So we enroll more transfer students each and every academic year than we actually do new incoming freshmen. Again, really cool, something we're proud of. And what we want you to realize is, transferring to an institution that maybe you don't have friends at, or maybe it's a new environment. You're transferring from the Raleigh-Durham area and now coming to the city of Charlotte, and that's a transition. And so, that can be facing many challenges. And we want you to realize that there are students on our campus, 50% of that total student population, who have overcome those similar challenges. So whether it may not be transferring from Wake Tech, although, Wake Tech is one of our top feeders, so a lot of those students have transferred from Wake Tech. But just keeping in mind that a lot of students have transferred into Charlotte. And so there are always students who, are in your same shoes. So transferring, I feel like sometimes can feel like you have a sign on your forehead or a t-shirt on that says, "Hi, I'm new here, I transferred." But in reality, there's a 50% chance when you're standing in line at like a Starbucks on campus that the student in front of you or behind you also transferred to Charlotte. So just know that, by being the largest transfer institution, you can rest assured that, there is safety in numbers here at the university. All right, question number 3 out of 5 would be, how many majors does UNC Charlotte offer? We offer 77, 108, 171, or 200 academic programs at the university. Okay, 171 is correct. Wow, so either y'all have all toured Charlotte before to know the answer to that, or you're really good guessers, and I'm impressed. But 171 majors is our count for how many we offer at UNC Charlotte. Wonderful job. All right, question 4, next to last question here. How many students are currently enrolled at UNC Charlotte? 12,000, 18,000, 24,000, 30,000. I mentioned this number early on. Okay, 30,000. I'm impressed. That means you were all listening. That's wonderful. So as the largest institution in the state of North Carolina, we actually sit at just above 30,000. So not at 30,000, but just a little bit above. So kind of round down 30,000 right here at UNC Charlotte. And that does include both undergraduate and graduate students. We're actually sitting at a little closer to 24,000 for our undergraduate student enrollment. All right. Next question, last question here. What is the average classroom size at Charlotte? So I'm so thankful I didn't say this one earlier. I caught myself. Is it 35, 60, 16, or 100? 35, nice. Majority of you got that right. I'm actually shocked. I feel like a lot of people say 100 because of the 30,000 students we offer at the university. So with that, 35 is our average classroom size. And what I will say is that, again, you may also be shocked by 35. As transfer students, we do have larger classroom spaces at UNC Charlotte, but as transfer students, whether you're coming in with that associate's degree or whether you're the students that answered that you're transferring earlier prior to earning the associate's degree, regardless, you are still transferring in with college credits. And a lot of the classes that you typically choose to take at the institutions prior to transferring are general education classes. Our classroom spaces that are typically larger in size are also those general education classes that regardless of your major, everyone has to take an English, everyone has to take a science. So by being transfer students coming from other institutions with either all of that general education curriculum done because you finished the associate's degree and you qualify for a general education exemption, or you just have some of those classes completed, you truly can expect smaller classroom spaces and or this 35 number, the average class size, sooner rather than later. Definitely towards your junior and senior year when you're in your major specific courses is when you could expect that 35 number at the university. Other majors, I know we mentioned like a graphic design and stuff. Some of our programs like our art and architecture, even our nursing program with a lot of clinical classes, and then even something like engineering with a lot of labs. You can certainly in those types of fields of study expect smaller classroom spaces, things like our art and architecture programs where you're in a ceramics class. Those are a lot more hands-on, intimate environments. So they're honestly sometimes 35 and even fewer than that. Sometimes 18 students in a ceramics class type of thing. So depending on your major can also impact your classroom size at the university. All right. Now we get to see who answered accurately the most and the fastest. And it looks like, all right, it looks like the St. Elmo for the win. So congratulations. All you get is bragging rights, but it's still really cool to feeling to know that you knew a lot about UNC Charlotte, and that honestly, I feel like I always know the answer, but clicking on the right button by just like this impulse sometimes gets me too. So way to be on top of it today. All right, let me not share the Mentimeter screen anymore, do away with that, and then let me work on sharing our Charlotte presentation just to kind of give you more information about the university. All right, so for UNC Charlotte, we just did the trivia. Talking more again about the application process. So really as transfer students, you can apply to UNC Charlotte using our Future 49er account, which is just kind of what it looks like, the first home screen of choosing whether you're a new first-time user and creating that account there, or you're a returning user and logging in, or you can also choose to apply on CF&C, which is the College Foundation of North Carolina. If you choose to apply on CF&C, just know that when we import your application from CF&C, we're going to actually then build you a Future 49er account and send you these login credentials so you could actually then log in and check your application status. So still may be helpful whether you'll use this to apply or whether you just use this to check your status of your application. future49er.charlotte.edu/apply is still a very helpful website to keep on your radar if interested in applying to UNC Charlotte. Okay, when applying for admission, what does Charlotte look for? Our minimum admissions requirements are that a student have at least 24 transferable credit hours, a 2.0 cumulative college GPA, and that you're in good academic standing and eligible to return to your most recently attended institution. Those three things are our minimum requirements. So certainly keeping in mind that the higher your GPA, the better your chances are of getting offered admission to the university. And as you can see, college math is on here, but it does say recommended and not required. So one thing I will say is, for some of our majors like engineering, business, computer science, they have higher level maths. So some of them have their own math admissions requirements, but regardless, not having a college level math prior to transferring can really hold up your timeline to degree completion here at the university. So while college math is not required, it is recommended in order to kind of make a seamless transition to the university and be able to kind of maintain on track to degree completion in a timely manner. Again, not required. And if you're that student right now in the audience that's like, I don't love math or math doesn't love me, the reason this item is on the screen here is because we know as the largest transfer institution that transfer students typically don't love math or math doesn't love them. And so I would just encourage you that, again, community colleges have math support opportunities, as well as Charlotte. We have math tutoring and those kinds of things available to you. But if you can fit in a college level math that transfers prior to attending Charlotte, it is strongly recommended. Now, if you're a transfer student applying with less than 24 hours, then we're going to take into consideration your performance in high school. So if you have more than 24 hours, we're only looking at your college coursework, college performance. However, if you have less than 24 hours, we're looking at your high school performance to determine if you'd be admissible using your performance in high school if you, again, won't be earning the 24 hours. All right, I mentioned kind of competitive majors. I feel like I said kind of business and engineering and even computer science. And so just want to kind of spend a moment walking you through competitive majors. So the screen before talked about our minimum requirements of a 2.0, 24 hours, and then just that you're in good academic standing at your most recently attended institution. These specific programs, anything within our Belk College of Business, anything within the computer science or College of Computer Informatics, but our computer science program, any of our engineering programs, as well as our nursing, these programs are competitive for admission, not because they're necessarily limited on seats, but because they have these additional requirements for admission. So if you apply and you indicate a major within the Belk College of Business, so marketing, accounting, finance, economics, just to name a few of those programs, then we're going to want to see, instead of a 2.0 GPA, we're going to want to see a 2.5 cumulative college GPA. Business also has 8 business progression classes or prereq classes. You get 2 attempts at each of those classes to earn a C or better within those 8 classes. So these 8 classes are things like accounting 1 and 2, macro, microeconomics, stats, calculus, just to name a few of them. The other thing is, in your attempts of those 8 classes, you must also have a 2.5 GPA. So we're calculating 2 GPAs, a cumulative 2.5, and then also a 2.5 within your attempts of these 8 business prereqs. Computer science is also going to require a 2.5 GPA rather than a 2.0. And then they have a college algebra requirement. So if you're transferring from Wake Tech, that's Math 171, and then C or better in any of your computer science classes. So typically this is going to be a class at like Wake Tech that starts with like CSC, so CSC 120 or 151 are going to be some good examples for types of classes that we're going to be looking for at least a C or better in, and then again the 2.5 cumulative college GPA. Engineering, so think things like civil, electrical systems engineering. We're going to look for a 2.5 GPA, and then they have a Calc 1 requirement. So at Wake Tech, that would be Math 271 as their minimum admissions requirement. So maybe a popular question we get here is Math 271 could technically be in progress at the time of applying, but you are required to have it prior to enrolling at Charlotte in engineering, okay? Mechanical engineering is a little more competitive than the other engineering fields, requiring a 3.0 GPA, and then again, Calc 1 requirement of Math 271. Nursing, probably our most competitive major here at UNC Charlotte, with a 3.0 cumulative college GPA as the minimum. And then if you've attempted any of the science prereqs, so think things like anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, microbiology, nutrition, those types of classes, you have to have a B or better within those courses. You only get 1 retake at a nursing prerequisite to remain qualified for entrance into our nursing program. All right. I know they mentioned it early on to drop questions in the, I don't know if it was the chat or the Q&A feature, but either way, feel free to continue to drop those. We will circle back to anything you have questions about. All right, I want to make sure I didn't skip anything. Okay. All right, so in terms of applying to the university, our online application is open right now for both the summer, so summer 1, summer 2, and fall terms. And I think our deadlines will appear here as well. Yeah, so, and then to apply, it takes your online application, which again can be CFNC or our Feature 49er portal, your application fee of $75, your official high school and college transcripts. Now remember, if you have more than 24 or more credit hours that transfer, we're only looking at your high school transcript for proof of high school graduation. If you have less than 24 hours is when we're looking at your high school transcript for performance to see if you're competitive internally on our first year freshman criteria. But high school and college transcripts are both required. And keeping in mind, if you've attended multiple colleges, you're sending a college transcript for each of those previously attended institutions. So it's not just your most recent, it is a college transcript from everywhere that you've previously attended. Essays and letter of recommendation for our transfer applications are not required. However, if you feel that it would benefit your application and the review process, then by all means, please submit that to Charlotte and we will consider it as a part of our review of your application. Deadlines. So our spring application, of course, for 2022 is passed because that term is already in progress. However, if we're thinking about possibly transferring for spring 2023, that application will open August 1st. With a deadline November 15th for your online application and application fee, and then your transcripts to complete your application are due no later than December 1st. Here's my piece of advice about all of our deadlines. You're not supposed to wait until these deadlines to apply to Charlotte. Please don't wait till these deadlines to apply. A student who's typically having to wait until these deadlines to apply to the university is possibly because we as admissions counselors have encouraged them to do so because they're not currently competitive unless they have like their current semester grades or something. So for example, a student applying for fall, starting with us in August, we're encouraging you to apply right now. However, the deadline's not until July 1. If we're telling you for some reason to wait until July 1 to apply, because that's advice from our office, then it's typically meaning that we need your spring grades. Really doesn't require you to wait until July. It's waiting until the end of May, right, to apply to the university. So always feel like you can connect with our team to inquire about, when you should apply, or maybe throughout this presentation, you're like, we talked about so much, how do I apply again? And you have those types of questions. Just know that our team is here to connect with you every step of the way. So always feel like you can reach out to us and ask those types of questions. But for spring and fall, there are 2 deadlines. So a deadline for your application and application fee, and then a transcript deadline. For summer 1 and summer 2, the turnaround time from these deadlines to when those terms actually start is much tighter. So we can only give you the 1 deadline for all of your documents, your application fee, like they all have to be in by now. Again, for 2022, fall, summer 1 and summer 2, all of those applications are still open, ready for you to apply and submit that application. And then the 2023 application for spring, fall, summer, and summer 2 will open August 1st. All right, moving right along. We think, as the largest transfer institution in the state of North Carolina, that a lot of your questions ahead of transferring, or even as you transfer, your questions are really related to your credits. You've spent time at another institution taking these classes, and you want to make sure that they're going to transfer to the university. Or maybe this is your first semester at Wake Tech, and you're like, now I'm going to spend some additional time here. And maybe Charlotte can recommend me some classes that not only will transfer to the university, but while I'm here, there'll also be classes that are recommended for my intended major at Charlotte. And we're going to address both of those here with these resources. So admissions.uncc.edu/transfers is our official admissions website for transfer students. This is where you can find everything we've discussed so far. So everything about our online application process, when to apply, so those deadlines, what it takes to complete your application, everything on that website, as well as these resources that we're going to talk about now. So Transfer Credit Advisor Tool is an online database of classes that have previously transferred to UNC Charlotte, and it's just a running list. And so it tells you how they're coded at your institution and how they transfer to the university. For a place like Wake Tech, that is a North Carolina community college, this Transfer Credit Advisor Tool is an exhaustive list, meaning if you have attempted a class at Wake Tech that is not on this Transfer Credit Advisor Tool, you can safely assume the class does not transfer to UNC Charlotte. For all other institutions, so whether it's in-state, out-of-state, all other institutions for this Transfer Credit Advisor Tool, we can only update that list every time we receive a transcript from that institution. Transfer guides and degree pathways are a resource. Like I said, if you're a student who is in their first semester at Wake Tech and you're like, I know next semester I want to take a math, but I'm not sure which math, I would love for Charlotte to tell me what math is needed for my intended major. These two resources are perfect for you. The transfer guides and baccalaureate degree plans, if you will, the BDPs, are both listed on our website, and both are great resources for helping you choose classes as you're at your institution with additional time. So they will recommend a math. If you're wanting to take a math, they will say what math is needed for your major. If you're interested in, let me go based off of one that you gave me, psychology. So it will tell you, hey, if you haven't already, take intro to psychology, or maybe take developmental psychology, right? Or maybe communication studies, it'll say you're going to need stats for your major. So if you're planning to take a math class at Wake Tech, why don't you go ahead and make that math the stats class that you're going to need at Charlotte anyway, okay? And get those classes out of the way. So wonderful resources there. Lastly, part of our review of your application. So from the date your application completes in our office, meaning we have your application fee, high school and college transcripts, when the date it becomes complete, we typically ask for 6 to 8 weeks to then review your application and give you a decision. Sorry. Sometimes we get those decisions out much sooner than 6 to 8 weeks. And then other times, depending on the volume that we're receiving at the time, it can take us the full 6 to 8 weeks, unfortunately. Our goal is to never wait until 6 to 8 weeks, but it can take us that time sometimes. Part of our review of your application is reviewing your transfer credits line by line, so that upon receiving your decision letter from Charlotte, if offered admission, you are going to get a transfer credit report that shows you line by line how those classes transfer. So if they're transferring as a specific class, or if they're transferring as an elective. And then it will also tell you how those classes fit into our general education curriculum. So it'll say, oh, you took this math class and that math class, here's how it transfers, and here's where it fits into our math requirement within our general education curriculum, okay? All right, tuition and fees, not my favorite topic to talk about, and I know it's not everybody's favorite topic to hear a lot of times, but kind of hopefully simplifying it for you. As transfer students, you're not required to live on campus at Charlotte. So you have both on-campus and off-campus opportunities. And keeping in mind that in terms, all of this is kind of related to on-campus. We don't really have much affiliation with off-campus housing. So a ballpark figure for a full-time student for a full academic year at the in-state rate is around this $7,000 price range. Keeping in mind, this does not include financial aid, does not include any scholarships. And the other thing is this is for the full academic year, remember. So just like at Wake Tech, how you kind of get billed by semester, we're not going to bill you for $7,000. You're registering by semester here and therefore getting billed by semester here, just like you are at, or what you're probably used to at Wake Tech. If you choose to live on campus, we have about 18 total residence halls here at the university, and they range in prices. So the cost of attendance to UNC Charlotte could go up or down depending on where you're choosing to live on campus, if you're required to have a meal plan based off your housing, or if you're choosing a meal plan, that sort of thing. All right, speaking of financial aid and scholarships, For UNC Charlotte, well, for everyone, the FAFSA opened October 1st. But for UNC Charlotte, we have a priority deadline, so 2 deadlines, priority and then the general deadline of March 1. If you happen to be a transfer student that has already applied to Charlotte, you've already received a decision to the university and have been offered admission, then if you have already applied and been admitted and you had your FAFSA to us by January 1, then you are guaranteed a decision from our financial aid office in terms of a package, a financial aid award by March 1. If you're meeting this March 1 deadline, so you've then been offered admission to Charlotte by March 1 and you submitted your FAFSA form by March 1, you're guaranteed a financial aid package by April 15th, okay? All right, so really just making sure you have the one FAFSA, the 2022-2023 FAFSA. That's going to cover your fall 2022 semester and spring 2023, so this upcoming academic year with that FAFSA form. And as you're probably aware, the FAFSA is an annual process. So in this upcoming October, you will then log into your FAFSA account and start filling out the 2023-2024 FAFSA, which to me just always seems like hard to even wrap my head around because of all the years, and it just feels like we just got to 2022. So, all right, scholarships at Charlotte, great topic here. Scholarships.charlotte.edu is the website you go to apply to scholarships. All of our merit and need-based scholarships are all housed in this portal. So we don't have any merit-based scholarships that we award through our admissions process. All of them are housed in this portal here, ready for a student to apply. You have to be an admitted student to apply to scholarships at Charlotte. So again, the first idea is that you're applying to the university early, getting a decision early, so then you can apply for scholarships, work on financial aid, and do other enrollment next steps at the university. All right. If you are, just bear with me, but if you are one of those transfer students who applied to Charlotte already and maybe you've already been offered admission, I also want to address kind of what your enrollment next steps will look like. So you're submitting your intent to enroll. This function opened in your Future 49er portal as of February 1st. You have until really kind of May 1st, a little after that, to kind of let us know your enrollment plans. But submitting your intent to enroll kind of confirms your spot for enrollment. We have no enrollment deposit at the university, so you're just submitting that intent to enroll to secure your spot for summer or for fall, to let Charlotte know you plan to enroll, and please don't give away my spot. Activating your NinerNet account. The NinerNet is going to be kind of your new student account for where you'll go to eventually register for classes, or where you'll go to eventually view your financial aid package when you've been offered one. This is also where your UNC Charlotte emails will start appearing. So it is super important that, even if you're not ready to submit your intent to enroll, it is important that you at least activate that NinerNet account while you're still trying to decide which institution you will attend, just so you can start checking your UNC Charlotte email address. Registering for orientation will open in April. At orientation takes place over the summer, June, July, or August. You'll select a date that best works with your schedule, but orientation is where you will eventually register for classes, meet with an academic advisor, those types of things. So encouraging you to, in April, sign up for an orientation date. If you are planning to live on campus, housing is first come, first served. So if you want a better chance of getting your housing preferences, we're encouraging you to apply to housing early. The application is open now. It does have a $200 deposit. And just keeping in mind, again, this is why we encourage, if you're a student who's not applying until 2023, this is why we encourage you to apply early, is so then you can have access to the scholarship portal. You can then have access to apply to housing. So if you've got time through all of this, before you do these kind of steps and stuff, this is why we encourage you to apply early, is to be able to move forward these enrollment next steps. And then applying and reviewing your financial aid award. Of course, if you haven't applied for financial aid, you're submitting that FAFSA form. If you've submitted the FAFSA form, as we just talked about with those deadlines, you're waiting patiently for that financial aid package to be able to review it, ask questions, that sort of thing. You probably have courses in progress at Wake Tech this semester, so when you finish these classes, you're making sure that you've submitted an updated college transcript to our office so we can award you that any remaining additional credit hours that you have from the spring. I think this is my last slide here, talking about campus life, and just kind of letting you know a little bit about what Niner Nation looks like on a regular in terms of what you can get involved in. So there are 400 student organizations here at the university. It says 400 plus because, to be quite honest, the number is constantly growing. If there is something that is not here on campus that you're really passionate about and you want to bring it to UNC Charlotte, you and 7 of your friends can then establish a new student organization on our campus. So just keeping in mind the numbers constantly changing, but we truly do have something for everyone. We have the fraternities and the sororities, that Greek life involvement. We also have just anything that your heart desires. We have religious organizations, service organizations. We also have just hobbies. So you love bass fishing. Okay, join our bass fishing club. There is truly something for everyone. And again, if for some reason there's something you're passionate about that's not already on our campus, you and your friends can then create the club and establish it here at the university. 50 club and intramural sports teams, 18 Division I sports teams. We are currently in Conference USA, although if you have followed our sports team really within the past 6 months, you did probably notice our announcement to join another conference in the near future. And then we do have 70 study abroad locations with over 1,000 different study abroad programs. So if study abroad is something you're interested in as a transfer student, it is possible. But know that when you're transferring, especially with any amount of college credits, your time here is limited. So if study abroad is something you're interested in, we're encouraging you that first semester, after you kind of get settled into your classes for the first few weeks, you're then connecting with our Education Abroad office to find the time that best benefits you and your major and your situation for studying abroad. All right, last slide I have for you is just kind of encouraging you, if you have the opportunity, to continue to connect to UNC Charlotte. So in person on Thursdays at 2 p.m. we have tours for our transfer students that are transfer specific on our campus. We do have a virtual information session and a virtual tour every Tuesday at 4 p.m. So you could go to our website, admissions.charlotte.edu/visit, and sign up for either one of those opportunities. Another thing you'll want to be on the lookout for is even like our open house event. So we have one open house on a Saturday. So if a Saturday is a little bit easier for you to come to campus than a Tuesday or a Thursday, then certainly checking out admissions.charlotte.edu/visit for all of the visit opportunities for you this spring semester. And with that, I will kind of turn it over for any questions that came in, but I will leave up our contact information so you know how to get connected with us at the university.
Great, thank you so much, Caitlin. That was a lot of great information. And we did have questions come in while you were presenting, so we're gonna start going through those now. But if you haven't, if you haven't submitted your questions, go ahead and do that now so that we can make sure we have enough time to answer those today and kind of go through those. But I will go ahead and let Mike or Anthony take it away.
Hi, and I'm just gonna start kind of rattling off these questions for you. What is a competitive GPA for a transfer student trying to get into the psychology program?
Great question. So psychology is not one of those competitive majors that we mentioned early on. So truly, we're looking for someone who just has a 2.0 or above. So if you have a 2.3, if you have a 3.0 or a 3.4, it really, to us, a 2.0 or above is competitive for admission with 24 hours or more to the psychology program at UNC Charlotte.
Okay, the next question is, what do the stats look like for the graphic design admissions?
Okay, so graphic design is a little more challenging. I'm glad you asked this question, but graphic design is the only major out of the ones that I know were in the audience of social work, psychology, communication studies, and graphic design. Anything within our College of Art and Architecture, so that's going to be graphic design, art, architecture, those programs, or even art education. Those programs require, in addition to our admissions application, they require you to submit a separate portfolio directly to that department. So for art or graphic design in this case, you have to apply for admission to the university, and then you also have to submit a separate portfolio directly to the graphic design department. What our team is looking for is our team's looking to see, are you admissible to the university? So we're looking for 24 hours and a 2.0 cumulative college GPA or higher. And then if you're gaining admission to the university, our decision is going to say, hey, congratulations, you've been offered admission as pre-graphic design. And that decision letter is going to give you instructions of how to submit your portfolio to the graphic design department. And then the College of Art or graphic design in this case, would then review your portfolio. They then contact us and say, based off this portfolio of this student, we would like to offer full admission to graphic design. So then we change your major from pre-graphic design to then graphic design department admit. If they aren't finding you as competitive to be, entrance into graphic design this fall, then they would contact us and we would change your major from pre-graphic design to undecided. So happy to follow up with you more about that process because I know it is a lot. They also have an upcoming deadline. So if you have not submitted that graphic, if you haven't applied to the university and you also haven't heard anything about that graphic design application process, and if you're interested in fall 2022, you probably need to be reaching out to our admissions team to inquire further about additional information and deadlines and processes. If you're interested in the future, know that graphic design only admits students for the fall semester. So then the next start term you would have is fall 2023. And in that case, you're still a little early in the process, which is wonderful. And you could always still send us an email, give us a call, schedule something with one of our admissions counselors. We're happy to kind of continue to walk you through that process because it is a lot. Sorry, really long answer to that question.
No, thank you. Next question, do AP classes from high school cover gen eds, and if you could go over what the score on the AP exam should be?
Absolutely. So admissions.charlotte.edu, and then I think it's under freshmen, you would see something that is titled like credit test. And if you clicked on that, it would take you to a website that would then allow you to select CLEP, AP, or even IB test, like you'd be able to select between the two or the three. And if you select AP test, you're then going to view an entire list of the AP credits that we will accept, the score required on the exam, and then based off of your score on the exam, what we will then award you credit for. So even if you just go to admissions.charlotte.edu and type in AP credit at the top, it would then take you directly to that website. But it really depends on the score received. We typically will award anything above a 3, so 3, 4, or 5. Depending on the AP exam itself, sometimes and it's all about what the department here has approved, but sometimes a 3, 4, or 5 will award you the same credit. Other times, if you got a 3, you'll get this credit. If you got a 4, you get this credit and this credit. And then sometimes it also depends on your major. So like biology awards differently if you're a biology major versus a non-major. So again, just encouraging you to check out that website. And then also keeping in mind, really important here is if you do have AP credits, we don't award AP credit based off of how Wake Tech awarded it. So if you previously sent your AP credits to Wake Tech, that's wonderful, maybe helping you finish that associate's degree, and that's great. But we're not going to award based off of what Wake Tech awarded you. You have to log into your College Board account and request for those AP scores to also be officially sent to Charlotte. So if you're, again, applying to the university, in addition to requesting your high school transcript, your Wake Tech transcript, you're then also going to your College Board account to have your official AP scores sent to the university so we can get you credit for those as well. Great question.
The next question is, can students apply without having the required 24 transfer credits completed?
Amazing question. Okay, so yes. And I guess the best way I know how to answer this is just kind of give you my thought process behind the scenes when I'm decisioning a student. And so when a student is applying as a transfer, first thing I look for is, does the student have 24 hours? If you have 24 hours, great, I'm using that to decision your application. If you don't have 24 hours, I then pull up your high school transcript to see if you're competitive for admission on that first year freshman criteria. So looking at your high school weighted, unweighted GPA, and considering you for that first year freshman admission criteria. You're still applying as a transfer, so it doesn't change how you apply, but it's just the internal review process. If I find that you don't have 24 hours, and for some reason you're not competitive on our first year freshman criteria, my next thought is, do you have courses in progress that will get you to 24 hours? So all of those things are, again, that's kind of review process that I use in reviewing an application, or that we use, all of our transfer counselors here behind the scenes would use in reviewing your application. So if we can admit you on 24 hours, wonderful. If we can't, we're looking at the high school performance. And if we can't use your high school performance either, then we're looking, and this is why it's important on your application, there is a section for you to list courses in progress. So then we're looking for you to then list those courses in progress, because sometimes they're listed on your Wake Tech transcript and sometimes they're not. So it is helpful for you to fill out that section for your courses in progress, so we can then see, oh, but hey, this student only has 15 currently, but they're going to have 24 hours. If we have to admit you on 24 hours and you only have 15 completed or more, maybe you have 18 completed or 22, but not quite that 24, but we can see that you're going to have 24, we can typically admit you with a 24-hour hold, which basically that decision means, hey, you're competitive for admission. However, you know and we know that your admission is contingent upon you completing these 24 credit hours. So basically your account's kind of on hold until we get those remaining credit hours to get you to 24.
Okay, and as far as housing with transfer students, do they usually put transfer students with other transfer students, or are they also put in maybe freshman dorms or other dorms as well?
Okay, so first year freshmen have the option to live anywhere on campus. So we don't require our first year freshmen to live, in a first year freshman residence hall. That being said, there are certain residence halls too that I know of off the top of my head that I can recall that are definitely freshman only, first year student only residence halls. Those would not be open to transfer students. Again, only open to first year freshmen. Transfer students, when choosing to live on campus, are typically, not all the time, but are typically choosing our apartment styles. And two of our more popular residence halls amongst our transfer students are going to be Martin Hall and Witherspoon Hall. Again, both are apartment styles. And I won't say when you fill out the housing application, the housing office doesn't go, oh, this person's a transfer and this person's a transfer. It's truly based off of preference. So they just start looking at how many female bed spaces they have, how many male bed spaces they have, and then start awarding based off of first come, first serve and preferences. So when you go fill out that housing application at housing.charlotte.edu, which again, you can't do until after you've been admitted to the university, but when you apply to housing, you're going to be able to list your top 7 preferences. So sometimes maybe a person's preference is based off of a village. Do they want to live in North Village, South Village, East Village? Sometimes students are more concerned about, I don't care where I live on campus, I just have to have a 4-person, 4-bedroom apartment. I want it to have a kitchen, so therefore I want it to be an apartment style, and I want to have my own bedroom. And so then if that's the case, then the student, is just going through the housing application and listing 4-person, 4-bedroom Levine Hall, 4-person, 4-bedroom Martin Hall, 4-person, 4-bedroom apartment in Witherspoon Hall. And so, there are 18 total residence halls here on campus, but 2 of our more popular residence halls amongst our transfer students are going to be Martin Hall and Witherspoon Hall.
Thanks. So another question coming from a student, you mentioned a minimum grade and a max number of attempts for business and pre-nursing, for business and nursing prerequisites. Would a student be disqualified from admissions if they exceed the number of attempts to reach the minimum grade?
So yes, for example, and I think, and this is a great question, and I hope I can remember to answer both parts. So to clarify, when we review for admission to Charlotte, we review first. The first thing I'm looking for is, are you competitive for admission to the university? So do you meet that first slide we discussed of 24 hours and a 2.0 college GPA and in good academic standing at your most recently attended institution? And if you meet those main requirements, then you're admissible to the university. Then I look for your major. And if you've applied for one of those competitive majors like business, nursing, computer science, or engineering, if you list one of those programs, I'm then reviewing your application to see if you're admissible to one of those competitive majors. So if you list business, so let's say marketing, I'm then reviewing your application to see if you're admissible to marketing. Keep in mind, if you're not admissible to marketing, but you're still admissible to the university, then I'm going to say in your decision letter, hey, congratulations, you've been offered admission to the university, but you're not currently competitive to marketing. Your decision letter will be detailed. So it will tell you you're not currently competitive for marketing, or it will tell you, hey, for those business prereqs, you had to get a C or better in 2 attempts, and because you got an F the first time and then a D, you're now never eligible for business at Charlotte, and so you would have to choose another major. You're welcome to start here as undecided, and our advising team here at the university will help you in choosing another major. But if you were unable to earn a C in your first 2 attempts at any of those 8 business prereqs, then you wouldn't be eligible for any of our business programs here at Charlotte. Same thing for nursing. If you had a C in a 4 credit hour anatomy and physiology class, so keep in mind the key part there is a 4 credit hour science. So the lab and the class are listed together versus the lab and the class being listed separately as a 3 credit hour and then a 1 credit hour. If you earned a C in a 4 credit hour anatomy and physiology class and your intended major was nursing, I'm first reviewing for admission to the university. You have a 2.0 GPA, 24 hours, and in good academic standing. And if so, are you now competitive for this major that you have listed on your application? Nursing. And if you have a C in a 4 credit hour class like A&P, then you're now not only not admissible to nursing, but you've now exhausted your 1 retake because it was a 4 credit hour class. That was a C in the lab and the class. So that's your 1 retake rule. So now you're not ever eligible for our traditional nursing program, keeping in mind that we do have another nursing program called our RN to BSN program. So if you were to obtain your RN license through Wake Tech's nursing program or another nursing program, whether at another community college or another 4-year institution, and you wanted to then come here and get your BSN, really it would be at a community college, but because you'd probably get your BSN from another 4-year institution, but you could then come to Charlotte and finish out our 1-year fully online RN to BSN program. So again, your decision letter is going to talk you through all of that. And when you get your decision letter, you're more than happy to reach out to our team. Or if you have this question and it's your specific situation and you want to send us a transcript ahead of you applying to kind of talk about it, we're here to talk about all these kinds of things with you in your specific situation.
Okay, so I have a student who I'm guessing is in the process of financial aid. So this is more of a financial aid question. They're asking when they fill out the FAFSA, FAFSA for 2023-24 in the fall of this year.
Yep.
How soon will they be awarded aid for that upcoming year, as well as what month should they apply?
Well, I mean, I always encourage October 1. I mean, like don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today was always the motto I was raised up on. But I would say if it opens October 1, you have from October 1 until, so keeping in mind that the one the FAFSA you're asking about is the 2023-2024 FAFSA. So that FAFSA form, it wouldn't apply to your account until fall of 2023, spring of 2024. So that's not this upcoming year, that's the following year. And so really that we kind of work off those same priority deadlines. If you're submitting that FAFSA form by January 1, you're guaranteed a financial aid package from Charlotte by March 1. Even as a current student, we kind of work off a similar deadline. We may not hold exactly to those, but keep those in mind. Those same deadlines. So just, I mean, I think, again, October 1, in my personal opinion, is kind of a midway point between the semester. So you're not fresh into classes trying to get established, but you're also not necessarily at final exams yet and trying to focus all on that. So you can either fill it out October 1 when it's kind of midway through the semester and you're in a good spot and you have some additional time. Or you could always devote your fall break, your Thanksgiving break to filling out the FAFSA, or if you wanted to devote even your winter break, as long as it's on file by January 1 is kind of the goal.
Thank you so much. We're going to give it a couple of minutes to see if any other questions come in.
Yeah, thank you so much, Caitlin. I'm going to go ahead and put the survey link in the question and answer announcement box for students to start filling out that survey. But we will wait just another minute or two to see if any more questions roll in. There's been a lot of great questions
thank you,
today.
Caitlin. Yeah, it's lasted almost until 4, so we're doing pretty good.
I feel like I can get long-winded, but I truly want to say, one, thank you to the students that attended and for your participation in the Mentimeter game and everything. It really has been a pleasure to be with you all today. And then just to the Wake Tech team, thank you for having Charlotte and giving us this opportunity to connect with your students. We always appreciate it. So.
Yes, and we appreciate you being here and presenting to our students. And we definitely appreciate any students who were able to join and participate. That was a really fun activity at the beginning, so I'm glad that we got some participation for that. I'll allow just one more minute. We'll see if any other questions roll through. We have had some throughout the day that have kind of come at the very last minute. But if not, then I will close out in just a minute.
Okay, sounds great.
All right. It looks like we are all set. So thank you again, Caitlin, for joining. And thank you to all of our attendees. We are going to go ahead and end the event now.
Bye, everyone.